A lot of people have asked. There's a lot of people that come into the store. I should put gloves on or something. A lot of people that come into the store look at the 1985 original Jordan, and I tell this story, so let me share it to the world. So 1985, I'm 10 years old, growing up in Northeast Philadelphia. I used to go to the Roosevelt Mall, and my dad would walk around the mall every Saturday as his exercise, and I would go into the athlete's foot. And I don't, of course, remember details, but I remember staring at this sneaker. There's a wall full of them. They didn't sell out instantly back in the day, and I just wanted this sneaker. Back then, I used to get 2 pair of Nike Canvas sneakers a year. One at back to school and one in the early spring. They were 20 bucks. They're all white canvas, and I would get a different color swoosh in the back to school and a different color swoosh in the spring. But I wanted these Jordans. It wasn't in the cards. They were 65 bucks. My parents' mortgage at the time was 110. Blue collar family, living paycheck to paycheck. It wasn't in the cards. But I would stare at these things and stare at these things, and finally, I remember my dad like yanking me out of the store saying, "Yo, bro, we gotta go." And at the time, I wasn't a great student, B's, C pluses, and my parents said to me, if you make honor roll by the end of the year, get all A's and B's, we'll buy you the sneakers. So I studied, I worked hard, I may have cheated a little bit, and made honor roll at the end of the year, but parents still didn't have the money, but they figured it out. And fast forward, it's kind of the story of my life. You want something, you work hard, you ask for help when needed, you learn, you achieve the goal, and you do it again. And that's sometimes where people miss, is that do it again. You got to repeat, repeat, and repeat. Let's take a step back for a second. When I wore these things, as you can tell, I wore them for a year and a half. I put 2 holes in the bottom of these things, and partly because I had no other choice, because I had to make up for the $20 twice a year pair of Nike Canvas. I had to make up for that money and wear these things, but also because I wanted to wear these things non-stop. I remember back then, by the way, I'm a fat little chubby kid. There was no clothes. I wore the same thing over and over again, but I had the sneakers that everybody wanted. And I remember walking around feeling confident and secure because I had Jordans and I felt proud that I had them, and I wore these things to death, and I wore them everywhere I went. The funniest part of the story is that while I had the basketball sneaker and I had these laces, for those that don't know, these are fat laces. They started out in Brooklyn back in the mid 80s, and breakdancers wore them. So of course, I don't know when I got them, but at a point in time, I got a pair of New Yorkers, put them in, and the best part of the story is I couldn't play ball or breakdance, but I had the Johns, I had the sneakers, and I didn't know it back then, but this was my beginning of living the sneaker culture world, if you want to call it that. And there was no such thing, but I had these sneakers and I was on top of the world. And all I wanted to do was wear them. All I wanted to do was show them off. Fast forward, my family and I moved out to Harrisburg 10 years ago. I opened up a tote, and what was in it? One of the sneakers that thankfully my parents were smart enough to save, and it's kind of been the North Star. It's kind of been the shining, star as we built Jones on Fire and brought it to life. And here we are. It's the showpiece of the store. It's the story of my life. People have asked, would you restore it? Would you sell it? And the short answer is no and no. Why would I want to make this look any different? And why would I want to pass this on to somebody else? It's a treasure to me, and I hope to pass it on to my kids one day. Check us out, Jones on Fire.